Welcome to Break Through the Ordinary. You know you desire a more impactful, connected, extraordinary life. That's why we are here to bring you stories from transformational leaders, healers, and entrepreneurs who found themselves trapped in the ordinary and are now living their most extraordinary life because of a breakthrough moment. Together, we will provide world-class tips and tools enabling you to live a life purposely, aligning your heart and soul, because we believe no one should be imprisoned by their past. We are your hosts, Marc and Claudine Chiaramonte, a sibling duo who transformed from an ordinary life of disconnection and loneliness to a life of purpose, love, and passion. We use our expertise, our trainings, and experience to inspire others to live an extraordinary life so they can create intimate, thriving relationships that ripple throughout the world. This podcast is only the tip of the iceberg of what is possible. If you want to dive deeper into our systems and break through the endless patterns of settling for crumbs, contact us at thebtopodcast@gmail.com.
Welcome to Break Through the Ordinary. Tonight, my sister Claudine and I are going to talk about living a life, like our principles are curiosity, adventure, living by a sense of wanting to know more and experience things. I feel like we're here as human beings with this wide open world, and let's talk about living wide open, or as they say, an F yes.
I love that. Curiosity, when I think of that as a principle, being a coach and a coach trainer, that is probably one of the biggest, if I say values, principles, competencies, embodiments of a coach, is because as long as we sit there in question, it allows, I think, individuals to have the space to be in their question. Who am I? What is it I want? Where am I going? How am I going to get there? In a world of certainty, curiosity is, to me, the key to the doorway.
It is a doorway. I think it's a doorway into many things. I think it's a doorway into finding out about yourself, expanding your vision and your possibility. Because, like, we even talk about simple thing of travel or anything. We live in a certain world, so you see, this is how you live. This is how people are. This is how they act. When you go to different countries around the world, you see there's a whole different lifestyle. And to have that sense of curiosity and adventure, even in the small things in life, trying new things. Maybe it's not your thing to jump out of a plane, but have you considered it? What's your fears around it? Hiking a new mountain, go on a solo or a camping trip out in the woods with a tent, There's just so much out there to experience that why play small?
When you're saying that, I was thinking at a time when, here we are, I don't know, we're in the pandemic or not. In 2022, we've come through the most uncertain time that we have living people have gone through with nothing, no point of reference, no evidence. And what a time to embrace curiosity, but curiosity means you're willing to live with uncertainty. So when you were saying that, try different things, I thought about where am I most restricted in my curiosity? And the easy one, I'll just give this an easy one. Like I'm really constricted around tasting foods, right? I have this thing about I don't like bitter, right? I don't like sour and bitter. And yet we know that all of the different tastes have a different frequency and a different purpose within our body. So what do I hold back from my body's experience because I don't allow bitter and sour in? But I have this thing that's like, I don't want that. Give me sweet. That's my tendency. But from a question of curiosity, you're right. What are we holding back? What is it that we think we know? Because that's what this is all about. We only know they would say 10% out of 100. So much lives in I don't know what I don't know. And so what we want to do about that. That's a lot of unknown.
It's a lot of unknown, but we tend to live in the box. And no shame on anybody, but we create these barriers. I don't like this food, like you said, or I don't like to do that, or I don't want it. How do you know? What's the danger in trying? I don't like nature. I don't like. Well, how do you know? You know, I use this story when I'm sharing with clients and stuff. I have never liked that olives. I'm a part Sicilian, but I don't like olives all my life. But you know what I did every time olives were out? I tried the olive to try and break my patterns or see, like, do you know, like after 35 years of trying olives, I like olives now. But
Welcome to the
but
family.
that's a simple example of we put ourselves in a, but if you don't open up to trying, you have no idea what's possible. And there's usually a lot of joy and excitement on that side.
I agree. And I actually like that idea of your willingness, because that's what this is about. Where are you willing? And what is it? What is the box really presenting for us? Comfort? But if you could say comfort, because I think it is, but to go, I'm just not that person, or I don't like that. It's comfort, but it's a comfort that has a price that you pay for it. Because once you do it, and I'm thinking particularly of our nephew, he's a no guy. We know that Nick tends to be a no to different things. And then once he tries it, he's like, oh my God, this is fun. This is the, but it's his protection. So I think of myself too. I think sometimes mine doesn't maybe come out as a no, but it comes out like, no, I'm gonna hold on to my box right now because I don't know if I like that. And I fade my taste. And really, what? So what? You spit it out, you get a glass of water, you start over again. So what would it take to be the invitation, to accept an invitation to live into that curiosity?
I think, when you say that, I think of we make it who we are.
Yeah.
It's like we hold on to it. I'm this person. This is who I am. It leaves no, it doesn't leave room for anything else, especially in relationship. We wonder why relationships don't make. It's like if you're going to just stay here and this person's going to stay who they are, you'll end up hating each other. Like there'll be nothing new to interact. There'll be nothing new to learn. There'll be nothing new to bring like excitement into the relationship because this is who I am. This is how I am. I'll never change. So we can never go to a new restaurant that doesn't have a food that I don't like because I'm not going to try it. And most of the time, the belief is around something we haven't even done. Like I just see it. It adds joy, excitement. Even talking about it, my body's like jumpy. It's like there's something about it. It's definitely a principle for me. You know me well. That's my life. I like to try things. I like
Mhm.
because you try, and if you like it, you might go back, and then years later, you might go back and try it again.
I appreciate bringing the relationships into it because I think that's the rush or the oxycodone, right, of new relationships because you are in the curiosity. You want to know, what do you like? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite food? And it's I say it with that voice, but it's genuine. You want to know
Mhm.
everything about that person. Oh, what do we have in common? What don't we? Oh, I've never been there before. Maybe I'll go there. And when we go and get into our routine, our comfort zone, maybe it's a trauma response. We're frozen and we don't, or we're fighting and we're not there, we're not present. You're right. Once that curiosity of learning about self or other, it becomes stale. There's not a place of the rush, and you could say that about anywhere. You could say that in a relationship, in a sexual attraction. If we don't try new things, new ways of touching each other, if you try new foods, or I often ask my clients like, well, when's the last time you got on a date? And oh, we go every week, and I go, what kind of date? We go down there, we have chicken wings, we watch a TV show, or I mean, I'm sorry, like a sports thing, or we come back, we watch Netflix. And I'm like, yeah, but how much did you just talk? And very little exchange happens in those places. And so when I think of time together and curiosity, I often do say, go create an adventure. Now, a venture could be a new park. You take a walk in a park, someone packs a lunch, right? This is not about, and adventures can be very large, but be open to that discovery, be open to creating a new moment together.
Even for yourself. I mean, like even for yourself in relationship and yourself. And when you're doing it yourself, you're sharing it in relationship. Even if your intimate other, your friends, it's even that with friends, every relationship you have. Otherwise, it's the same. You're gonna go to the same place, have the same cup of wine, talk about the same thing. Like, you wanna live in newness.
And just so everyone's clear, right? There's no wrong, right, or shame here that you go to the same bar because routines and habits also bring us good comfort. It's like warm
Sure.
food, like a hot soup on a cold day. And it's this about though, right? We get to always be infused with new energy, right? I love like my word of the year last year was expansion. And it's that space of where can my heartbeat and breath deepen? Where can I exhale more? Where can I inhale and take in? Now, it doesn't mean every breath, but when we're intentional about it and go, yeah, no, this is what I want. I want that. And I think when we were coming out of a time where we were in our homes a lot, we weren't in physical contact with each other. A lot of people talk about, missing touch. So people took on a lot of newness in a different way over this past year, the past 2.5 years, right? Like
Mhm.
we had bicycles. I wanted to order one 2.5 years to get a bicycle. Mine was stolen. Right. That tells you more people took up biking, more people bought desks, more people took up hobbies. And right, they opened themselves up to some kind of new, maybe it was a coping skill, but it was still in the curiosity, like, I don't know, maybe I'll get adult coloring books and markers and see what happens, right? But it was answering a call that didn't have evidence or we didn't know what we didn't know in that moment.
Yeah, some of it was forced, like you have to work from home or whatever. So that change had to happen, which is great. We were talking about relationships, and I think that sense of curiosity and adventure can also be a little edgy. Like, not, it's out of your comfort zone. It can be a little like, ooh, but I've always said on the edge of that fear is there's an excitement also. It's like, so I look at like we talk about sex in the bedroom, it gets routine, it gets mundane. Well, it does because your sense of adventure, curious, going somewhere to learn something, trying new things, watch Goop on TV or something, learn new techniques, being sensual, touch. There's so much out there to make things alive. No, I'm not just talking your sexual life, but in life in general. And what are you here for? We have this whole big world with all this possibility. Why wouldn't you want to taste it? It's like, I don't like the beach. I've never been to the beach. I don't want to go to the beach. Well, how do you know? How do you know you
There's a
don't like
lot
the
of beach in
surf?
this world.
How do you know you don't like the surf or get in the waves or that cold plunge in the ocean? Or how do you know?
The analogy I just had is, and I use this often in coaching, is right, you have a buffet. We were given this gorgeous, magnificent buffet. This universe, if you believe in source, God, creator, Buddha, however you have it, and you want to only go, no, I'm only going to eat chicken. I'm only going to eat broccoli. And you go, really? You know how many other kinds of forms of nourishment there is? And you're just, again, not shaming, but what is there for you to gain? What are you losing by not tasting more? Right? What is your body, your senses, your eyes, right? There's so many different things to observe and feel and touch. And like, really? You want to just stay with your chicken and broccoli when you have this whole long buffet? And really that invitation into it. And I know that in part of our, group coaching, we really do talk about this sense of living with curiosity, or we could call it being in the question. So this is an important part to, deepen when we're in relationship first to self and then to other, whoever that other is, right? Family, friend, partner, husband, wife. And I think that's a really important place to really dive deep into is like, what is that? And when we go to these trainings or workshops or read books, it does expand our box. And how do we get comfortable with just living in a larger box? But what it does is it allows us to grow bigger. Yeah, there's still a box. Kind of like the analogy where the shark grows to the size of the tank it's in,
Mhm.
right? But think about it. So you take up more space, right? I think there's conversations about, well, how much space can I take? How curious can I get? Right? What is that that's holding you into some kind of paradigm that's like, well, only that much? Like, oh, because we didn't eat that in my family. Oh, we didn't do it in my family, which is all the downloads we got. And if you're listening to this podcast or you listen to podcasts, you read books, you go to trainings, you go to coaching or therapy, or I don't know, listen to different types of music, then there's something in you that is in curiosity. You're here today listening. There is curiosity in you. And that's a seed that to me keeps growing.
I agree. As you were speaking again, I thought of it's vulnerable. In relationship, it's vulnerable if somebody's changing because we want them, safety. You're this way. This is who you are. Great. Let's keep it that way. But we could help each other, even in relationships, simple ways by start that really with a sense of openness and curiosity. Ask somebody, what would you really like to do? What have you not told me? Or what have you thought about for years that you might want to try? Does anything ever come up in you that you see something you want to do? Like, there's ways of helping each other or asking or being a space for allowing that because it's a vulnerable place, especially in relationship. When you want to be, like you said, take up more space, be bigger, be like, not be the same me. It can be threatening to people. It's like, wait, you were just like that. Now you're like this. But that's part of it. And we wonder why marriages fail. And it's like, we're not doing this. We're not expanding. We're not being curious and adventurous to find new things. So it gets dull and boring. I mean, you ask most couples that are ending, it's dull, boring. Their sex life is dead. Like, well, you wonder why? You really want to live like this? Curiosity.
When you were just speaking about that, and I appreciate you bringing it, that it is vulnerable. And it's less vulnerable or it's more armoring to say, no, I got you, Mark. That's right. You're the one who's going to ask more questions. Oh, you're the one who likes hot and spicy. Oh, you're the one, right? And I also can go like, well, these are my boxes, or we can call them self-limiting beliefs. We have them. They're generational, they're ancestral, they're ours, and society has given them to us. And there's a comfort, right? Like, oh, I like this kind of person. And right, we could check off boxes. And you're right, there's that space of, if I grow, will you grow with me? Will you be curious with me? Can I trust? It's that line that I love, getting to the edge of the cliff and still jumping and knowing and trusting that you will land and that there'll be somebody there with you, right? That your partner won't expand too much. And I think that's the place where we end up keeping each other small because we keep ourselves small, right? And even if it's olives, right, all the way to, something else, but it's that same metaphor of it.
Yeah, keep trying. Like relationship, the person will keep trying. The funny thing is, the other person benefits automatically. That's the thing.
Definitely.
Is then they have a chance to go, oh, wait, it opens up space for, this topic gets me. It's like, just go for it. Just go for it. Say yes. Say yes.
Yeah.
You have this idea in your head or you're holding something inside, say yes to it. Take a shot. And what's the risk? The risk of staying small is, what did they say? The risk of staying in the bud, the flower couldn't handle it anymore, so it had to bloom. It's like the risk of staying small is greater than the risk of opening.
Most definitely.
And as you said, it is something we teach and is about living that way. And in the group dynamic, when you're curious about each other, people open up. People start to share. You start to learn about new things and different ways. And
when you said yes, so this was a book I just finished, was The Year of Yes. And I love how, Shonda Rhimes wrote that book, and she's the creator of Grey's Anatomy. And I'm in a book club, and it was like, I wasn't attracted to it. It's an old book. It's from 2015, but somehow we read it. But I agree with you because what it is it's the shedding. It's the shedding of all of those things. All of the limits that she had, no public speaking, no working, she said no to working on weekends. She said no to being fat. She said no to toxic people in her life. She said, so she became a yes to all these places. And I think that's the invitation today. So where do you want to be a yes? What do you invite? Like even the simple act of hiking, right? Last year I went to Zion National Park and Bryce, and these are places that, right, the walking is an invitation of curiosity, the colors, the animals, the plants in your neighborhood. Go around. You don't know every plant your neighbors have planted in this season. Be open to understanding that, right? Just see it for what it is and take it in.
There's so much out, meetups and free classes and other, like once you start to investigate, you can't believe what's out there. You go, there's a class to learn this. Oh, there's a class, people are doing this. Oh, there's stuff about that. It's like everything is out there. And Google, it's so easy. Oh my gosh, our phones, you could find everything. You know, I was listening to, I think it was Joe Rogan, and it was like, they were talking about just these guys going out and camping for weeks in the woods and going to hunt, but by bow and arrow. And it was like a manly but cool brothers going out into the woods. And it was like, I want to take up archery. It's like, but I never thought of doing anything like that. But it's like, why not take a couple lessons, see what it's like? Who know? You know, it's just, hey, doesn't mean I'm going to go out there and be a hunter or not a hunter. It's like, but you know what? The idea of, oh, let me see. And if I do take to it, great. Then maybe I will go on a hunting trip. You know, I have no idea.
But you never know until you try. And I think that's the invitation of today is what is it that you have said, I'm just not a blank person, or I am just this type of person. And those very words create your reality and create your box and your limit, right? Because you only have just defined yourself. Right? What's that saying? Like the two most powerful words in the English language are I am. Right? Because after that, you have now stated who you are. And I think we're always in an internal search of who am I, right? So I welcome people to even just look at their language when they say that next, right? Are you not an olive person? Really? Right?
Give it a try. You might like an olive. You might like a food that, you know, and what does it hurt? Like every time I took a little olive, what does it hurt? It's like, you don't like it, you spit it out. You know, you try something, you don't like it, you spit it out, you know, but enjoy the journey. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
And see what opens up.
And it's like growing in your own trust in your choices. And if you're doing it with somebody, it's also trusting them in that vulnerable moment of, will you walk with me? Will you be my steward? Will you, watch my story? Will you cheer for me as I choose to expand and not have it trigger you about, oh my God, will they leave me? Will they this? Will they that? No. Who can they become? Who do I get to witness, cheer on, and who's going to bring me forth and inspire me? Right? May we all become olive lovers. That's the message here tonight.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. You can catch us on the BTO podcast if you want to know more about our groups and our coaching and our systems that we use to open up your joy and curiosity and adventure, sense of adventure. Reach out to us. Look forward to hearing from you.
Yep. And follow us at the BTO podcast on LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram. And if you want to learn more about the podcast, it's thebtopodcast.com. And until the next time, stay curious.
Yes. Thank you for listening to this episode. Our intention is that you take these tools to break through any limitation holding you back from living your extraordinary life. If you would like to learn more about our group and individual coaching, contact us at thebtopodcast@gmail.com. Please support us and the podcast by following us and leaving a rating or review. To catch all the latest, follow us at the BTO Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.